right now as far as getting ready into your first season?
Well, I think a lot of things have changed. First of all, we've hired a complete coaching staff, and that was obviously priority number one before we hit the ground recruiting. But the other thing you have to hire is all of your operations staff, your recruiting staff, your video staff. All those positions are critical to making the operation run. So, again, probably the task list was to hire the on-the-field coaches, to finish the recruiting class, to hire the operations positions, and now we're really getting to know our current team well, which I've really enjoyed that process of getting involved with them in the off-season workouts. And then, recruiting, you're always recruiting. So we're beginning work on the 15 class, and in some cases even starting on the 16 class.
What are you liking about the team that you've been able to get to know about them so far?
Well, I just think the one thing that's been impressive is just their willingness to be coached. It's a look you in the eye type group. I think they want to learn. Their work ethic in the weight room has been really good. We've made some good strength gains already. We're starting to get our offense and defensive systems installed. The amount of guys that are up there watching extra film and trying to learn has been impressive. So, I believe it's a group that wants to learn, that wants to win. And part of that is everybody wants to win, but who's willing to put the work in? And that's what we're starting to find out now, and we'll continue to find out more about this football team as we go through spring practice.
Talk about the dynamics of being the new guy, just being here, and how do you balance you want to come in, you want to bring the discipline to the guys right away, which I guess it's only human nature. You want them to like you a little bit, or do you care as a head coach? Talk about the balance of all
Well, I think it's human nature. I think everybody wants to be liked. I don't know if being liked helps you win football games. I think the players want a sense of discipline. I think players want to know what the expectations are, whether the expectations in the weight room, in the classroom, all of those things. And I've said this before, the biggest challenge year one is getting your systems established and having a clear vision for what you want it to look like, and you have to be very clear with your communication to the players on what the expectations are and what the standards are. And then you give them a chance to live up to it, and way more often than not, our players are doing that. And there's also consequences if you don't live up to the expectations. So again, I can give the same thing I gave in the press conference. There's a way that we expect them to lift, and there's a way we expect them to run in the off-season program. There's a way we expect them to behave off the field socially. There's a way that we expect them to handle their academic responsibilities. And we're going to celebrate the achievers. And we have the majority of guys that are doing exactly what we want them to do and what we need them to do in order to have academic success and athletic success at Wake Forest. When players don't do that, there's a consequence. And we try to be very consistent with how we administer the program and handle discipline. And at the same time, you want to create an environment that they look forward to coming here. And so, again, it's a balance. But, to me, it's more important that the players respect the process and respect the coaches. And I think from respect comes long-term lasting relationships. If you just want to be liked, that's a flimsy platform to work off of.
First took the job, did you have friends, colleagues, or whoever say, can you win at Wake? Can you win at Wake? And is the answer to that, well, they won a title in '06. Yeah, you can win at Wake. Talk about that subject.
Yeah, again, this is my fourth head job. And if I had listened to everybody that advised me on the other three jobs, I never would have become a head coach. Every job has their strengths and every job has its challenges. And the thing you have to look at is do you have a plan in place that can lead to long-term success? And I would say this, after being here 3 months, I'm more convinced than ever that we can win here and win at a high level. Is it easy? No. I don't know if it's easy anywhere right now. But there are certain things unique about Wake Forest that are special about Wake Forest that if we sell those things, we can get good football players here. And so we have a great staff. At every position on the staff, I got my first choice. We finished up strong in recruiting. We won a lot of recruiting battles against schools that people maybe perceive more as football schools than Wake Forest. But given the choice, there were young men that picked us over those other schools, and we were able to do that in 6 weeks. So now that our staff will have a year to recruit, our long-term success is going to depend on how well we can recruit. And I'm very confident that we're going to be able to recruit good football players here.
What's your sense of the atmosphere here at Wake Forest? Small community, it's really unique compared to a lot of schools out there. And how much do you sense that this community is thirsty for a winner in any sport, really?
I mean, the people in the community have been great. And, everybody always says, geez, Wake, you're so small. Yeah, it's awesome we're so small. That's our greatest asset. The smallness, we're the smallest school that plays the highest level of football. And we're not hiding behind that. That's the greatest asset we have. A young man can come here and get more individual attention academically than anywhere else in the country and play big-time football. And that, to me, sounds like a huge positive. That is not a negative at all. So keep saying that about us and spread the word, because we want recruits to hear that.
What evaluation have you had of the players that you have coming back? What excites you the most about this team that you have so far?
I mean, just first of all, their work ethic. I mean, we have guys that have made great strides in the weight room already. I mean, the players are coming up all excited. Coach, I already put 50 pounds on my squat. My bench is already up 34 pounds. Coach, I've gained 8 pounds of good weight. They're seeing results. And as a football player, you don't mind working hard if you feel you're getting better. There's nothing more discouraging for a football player to go into a weight room for an hour and 20 minutes and do that 4 times a week and feel like you're not getting stronger. But when they start seeing results, that helps morale. We have a conditioning program, and when we started this thing 4 weeks ago, they struggled to get through the first 20 minutes of it. Now they're maintaining a pretty good tempo, and their work capacity has increased in just a month. And they're doing little extra things on their own, and that is the sign to me that there's buy-in. And again, is it all going to be easy? No. I mean, you're always going to hit speed bumps, and there's going to be adversity. And at those points, you find out who's really with you and who's not. I mean, there's a fail rate with what we do. What we do is not easy. Playing Division I football is not easy. Getting a degree from Wake Forest is not easy. So if everybody could do it, and if everybody makes it, what we're doing isn't hard enough. So, at some point there will be a fail rate. We hope not a lot, but the guys that buy in will lead this program to greater things.
What do you want to get accomplished in spring practice and the spring game and all that?
We want to get our players as familiar and as comfortable with our systems as we can. That when you first put a system in, there's a lot of processing going on and it slows players down. So day one, when we install our offensive system, our defensive system, our punt, it's going to be slow. They're processing. It's not second nature to them yet. And the goal is by the end of spring, they're going to play a lot faster practice 15 than they do practice 1. And now they've got a whole summer after that to digest the terminology that when we get back here in August, hopefully they're playing even faster. And quite honestly, we're at a disadvantage. For the most part, most teams we play next year have been in their offensive system, defensive system, what have you, for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. And so that is an area that we are playing catch up. So we got to get as much in as we can, as quick as we can, but we can't put so much in that it slows the players down. We got to get them to play fast and react and understand terminology so it becomes second nature by the time we line up in August.
Did you decide upon when you wanted to start your spring practice? I believe it's the end of this month and whatnot. And what was your thought process behind that decision?
Well, we're going to start March 25th, and quite frankly, it was because really the weekend for the spring game is going to be April 26th. And so the NCAA allows so many days from the start of spring to the end of spring, and we wanted that period to be stretched out as much as possible. Maybe 3, 4, 5 years down the road, you can practice 2 or 3 days in a row. We really wanted the players to have an extra day to digest the installation schedule. So we'll go 3 times a week. We'll start March 25th. We'll finish up April 26th. And again, that'll give us a full month of getting things in. And we have an ambitious installation schedule, but we always have the ability to slow it down a little bit depending on how quickly they're picking it up.
Are there any loose ends that you want to tie up before we get to March 25th?
Oh, there's always loose ends. I mean, there's not going to be a deep breath here until after the signing date of 2015. I mean, we've got to get our recruiting systems established. Every day is a new day. Every day something pops up, and that's just the nature of being a new staff and being a new head coach and meeting with new players. And every day I'm learning more about Wake Forest. So there's certain things that maybe we did at Richmond or we did at Bowling Green that don't fit Wake Forest because of maybe the class schedule or because of the facilities. It's just I'm learning a ton every day. Right now our whole staff is a sponge, and our players have been that way too. So again, we're at a great school, and there's things that are in place here that are terrific that we've got to adapt to, and I think the players are the same way in terms of learning our style.
How much do you have you in the last few months sat down with some players and just picked their brain about what you're getting into?
A ton. I mean,
What kind of feedback have you got?
Yeah, I mean, whenever you ask for player input, you got to be prepared for anything, and you have to listen to it. And one player may have this perspective, and another player comes in and it's complete opposite perspective. So, you're dealing with 105 different personalities. But I think as the head coach, rather than come in and just say, we're doing this, this, and this, there's certain things you want to give the players input on so that they have ownership and there's buy-in from their end. There's things we're going to do as a program that are non-negotiable. This is the way we're doing it. But there's other things that I want their input. How does practicing at this time affect your academic schedule? If you're truly committed to making these players have success on and off the field, you have to make sure you're doing things in a way that don't disrupt their academics. And so whether it's our practice times or our lifting times or where they like to eat, those are all things you have to listen to. So we've formed a leadership committee here that they voted on. And I try to meet with those guys at least once a week. And every time we meet, there's a variety of topics that we talk about that right now these guys know far more about the institution than I do. And so right now they're helping educate me and our football staff, and we are formulating a plan, the best way to win at Wake Forest as we learn more and more about the school and our players.
How has the wardrobe change gone for you? How much more black and gold do you have? You come from a very questionable color system where you were at. I've been.
Tell you what, when you win a championship, every color scheme looks good. So it's changed a lot. Okay, there's certainly not as much orange in my wardrobe as there was 4 months ago, but I'm very proud of what we did at Bowling Green, and I'm proud that I was able to be the head coach there for 5 years. And I'm not one of those people that burns everything orange because I'm at a new place. I mean, people there were wonderful to us and our staff, and absolutely fell in love with the players there, and I'm proud of the things they're going to do. But obviously, at this point in our lives, we now bleed, black and old gold.
You talked about that leadership committee, and that was going to be my next question as far as who are the players that are kind of like standing out. But obviously, you said the team already voted on the ones who should kind of be at the head of the class as far as the leadership. Can you name those players and name some of the?
Well, I'd rather not get into the individual players, but what we do is we try to get a cross-section of the team. So I make sure there's representation from offense and defense, from freshmen, sophomores, juniors, seniors, from guys that are from North Carolina, guys that are from Florida, and all over the map of where we recruit. So, it's not necessarily maybe the top 10 to 15 leaders in the whole program, but it's a cross-section of the perspective that a fifth-year senior may have is a lot different than a second-semester freshman. And the more I find out, the more that we can help the incoming freshman class. I'm curious from the freshmen, what was your greatest challenge the first semester coming here? I love hearing from the seniors of, over your 4 years here, what are the best 3 things that Wake Forest football has done for your experience, and what are 3 things that if you could be the head coach in King for a day, you would switch? And some of those things we can change, and some of them we can't. But I just love to get their perspective on it because they came here with certain expectations. In most cases, those expectations have been met. In other areas, maybe they haven't been, and if there's an easy fix, we want to fix them.
How fast is August going?
You know, we have so much work to do between now and August. You know, obviously, what we do as a profession is that we work very hard all year, but how we're measured boils down to 12 Saturdays and with ESPN Thursday nights and Fridays. But I mean, we have so much to do every day right now. I mean, I'm excited about tomorrow. There's things we got to get done tomorrow, and I'm excited about what I'm doing later today. And I've always believed that, you know, if you take care of the things day to day, the results on the field will take care of themselves. So I'm looking forward to it, but I can't skip to it, and I'm certainly not going to wish our life away. We've got a lot to get done, and right now I'm really excited for March 25th. That's our first day of spring practice. But I'm also excited about tomorrow at 5:45 in the morning when we have another off-season workout and we get a chance to see guys get better and guys compete and see who pushes themselves.